We, on behalf of the SREC Alumni Association and the Aeronautical Department, welcome you for this 81st webinar talk, Zero Towards One. We welcome our principal ma'am, speaker of the day, Mrs. Rejitha Rajan, faculty members, current students, and all our friends. Mrs. Rejitha is an aeronautical engineer with specialization in structural engineering. He has got 8+ years of experience in the automotive industry, 4 years exclusively in the e-mobility space in developing electric premium motorbikes for a startup called Ultraviolet Automotive Private Limited. She had worked with Royal Enfield as an NVH analyst between 2014 and 17. Currently, she is pursuing her MBA at IIM Kozhikode. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a nice introduction. And before I start, a small question, like, do I get to see every one of you? Like, would you be switching on your video? First, I'll do it. All right. Okay. I'll just share my screen. So I believe most of you would be aware the title called 0 to 1. It is pretty popular among the startup world. So what is 0 towards 1? Anyway, I do not want to explain that at this point of time. So Mr. Vasanth Kumar, yes, already briefed about my profile, the professional experience and all that. So bits and pieces to add to it. So my career started with a company called Geometric Limited. So there I joined as a CA engineer. I was working for different clients like Caterpillar, who were into the heavy machineries like earth movers and so on, and Joy Mining, they were into the mining components, and got a chance to work for some aerospace companies, but to very limited extreme. And then within 2 years, I felt, okay, this is not I'm destined for, because I was not so satisfied with the job I was doing there. Then I decided, okay, let me move into an OEM. So OEM is nothing but original equipment manufacturers who produce their own, products. So I was fortunate enough to join Royal Enfield. That is when the technical thirst, it started getting quenched, So I joined there as a CA engineer, but I got into NVH projects. If you would have taken a ride in Royal Enfield bikes, any of the bikes, or like if you know about Royal Enfield's bikes, you must be aware of the vibration that you face on the handlebar or on the footrest, all that, right? And the signature sound of the Royal Enfield's, classic or bullet, even the same sound was like, imitated on Thunderbird and Himalayan, all that. But that beat sound is very popular for the classic and bullet bikes. So my role was to understand, to study how that beat was achieved, because that was not developed in the recent days. So it was developed much earlier. So what kind of science has gone into it? It was so fascinating. And I got to work on the complete exhaust system. I got to work on the complete engine's noise and vibration system. Even one of the technical paper got bagged second prize in a technical conference that was organized by a company called MSC Software India. So the scope was huge. That is what I'm trying to say. Then after 3 years in Royal Enfield, I had to move to Bangalore for personal reasons, and I had to join a startup called Ultraviolet. That was my choice, because I had another offer in an MNC, better remuneration with better role, everything. But let me tell you what made me join Ultraviolet. So I appeared for the interview. So in the startup, it was not even a Series A funded startup. Anyway, you will get to know all these terminologies once the meeting progress. So it was in the very initial stage. I was the 18th employee, and when I visited the place, it was like a small laboratory. All I got to see was the prototype of the vehicle. When I say the prototype, Simply, it was a chassis of the motorbike Ultraviolet was intended to build. And all I could see was cells and the various parts of battery packs scattered all over the places. Yeah, because Ultraviolet was like has been making their own battery pack in-house. So I thought, okay, let me give a try in the startup. Even in 2017, joining a startup, not so many people were confident enough in doing it for various reasons that we are going to discuss in the later part. So I joined there and the journey began. Like for 4 years, I was part of a CA team. I helped the organization building the CA team, purchasing the right software, and standardizing different methodologies. Because usually, if any mechanical or aeronautical or civil guys are here, they would be well aware of certain compliances or regulatories that need to be followed before we approve a design of any particular component. Okay, but just think, the battery packs are so new to our Indian market, I would say. There are like companies who would outsource the battery packs, but there are very few who build it in house. So I was fortunate enough to know a bit about all that in Ultraviolet. And very recently, I quit my job because I wanted to take a career break to focus on my academics and on my kids' education. He's into nursery, but you see the pressure we parents are facing due to the pandemic and all that. The online classes happens in the middle of the day, and I had to be there with them. And so moving to the next slide, why I chose this startup ecosystem, or why I chose this topic. The very reason is that when I got graduated in the year 2012, everyone was so fascinated about getting placed in MNCs. And if we meet other college students, the first question we would ask is, do you have placement cell? How active it is? But today, irrespective of like from which college you come, people would ask, do you have an entrepreneurial cell in your college? Like, how do you guys explore innovative ideas to build a product? These are the type of communication we are coming across. Why? Because the impact of this startup boom is humongous. So you just look at this graph. Hope everyone can see my presentation. So in the year 2016 to 17, it was one handful number of companies like startups were there. But after 2016 and 17, it started growing drastically, 743 to 7,856, almost 10 times growth. And then today, like 2021, you see there are 16,000 to 87 startups. And if you see the next count, that is 3,687, it is only till next year of March. That is predicted only till that quarter one, not beyond that. So we don't know like what could be the next number. So globally, India stands at the third place in the like startup ecosystem. That itself is great. So totally, like there are around 45 plus startups, but half of them, 50% of them, comes from major sectors like IT, healthcare and life sciences, education, professional and commerce services, even agriculture, food and beverages. And you would be using so many apps or some other products or services in a day-to-day life, that would have been a product or outcome of a startup. Okay, so where do I see the chat windows? I'm sorry, I'm not so familiar with this platform. Mm, okay, can somebody help me with like where should I see the chat window? All right, maybe like I'll take the question and answer a little later. Okay, you yourself can ask which are all the products you're using in a day-to-day life. So let's look at this slide, the next slide. Okay, so here there are a number of startups. You just take the beauty and personal space. There are like products with very unique USP. say for example, let's talk about Mama Earth. They are trying to bring in the products which are chemical free in the market. And you have Nika. We don't have to talk about the Nika's market cap. It has boomed all of a sudden, like out of nowhere after this pandemic, and even their IPO was released recently. And then you see at the bottom there is a segment for men's grooming. Man Matters, the Man Company. They are like producing products which are exclusive for men, that too like that is particularly for their hair, beard, and all that. So that is very niche segment. Likewise, we have food and beverage. You would have heard of Fresh to Home, Licious, which delivers you the fresh fish and meat. Then when it comes to the lifestyle, you would have come across this yoga bar in every Shell petrol pump. You can see that, and there are so many like that. And then when it comes to the meals, like whoever is a frequent customer of Swiggy or Zomato, you would have like come across all these restaurants. Okay. And then when it comes to the fashion, there are specific companies like Dressberry. They have their own manufacturing unit and they have their own USP. And Zivame, it is very niche at extremely successful. And for electronics, if you come, there is Boat is very popular for the noise cancellation. Okay. And likewise Wakefit, they produce only mattress, but with the memory foam that will support your muscle. That is like extraordinary. These startups are really doing good. So like whatever you're seeing on this slide, it is not even 1% of the total number of startups in India, right? So why am I talking about all these startups? I'll come back to that point little later. Since I come from automotive background, they especially the two-wheeler mobility, there are few startups, like Ola Electric, Ather, and Bounce Infinity, who have already launched their products, and others like Ultraviolet, Mflux, Torque, Simple, Oxa, Revolt. They're all like in the market, but in the pre-launch state. So now let me tell you what is 0 to 1. 0 is the beginning stage. I'm going to explain that in a layman's term. So it is the 0, like you're nothing, but you want to do something. Say, for example, Ultraviolet, they wanted to make an electric premium motorbike, which no one is making currently. So what is 1? They will do their own R&D and come up with their first ever product, which gets launched. Like Ultraviolet has recently unveiled their product, but they are yet to launch. So when the launch happens, that is what we call as state or stage 1, that is 0 to 1. After that, there will be like 1 to n stages, which will be easier, but that achieving that 0 to 1 is extremely difficult. Now, what is 0 towards 1? It is at the end of the presentation. All right. Now, we have spoken a lot about the startups available in India. Here you can see the unicorns. What do you mean by unicorns? Can somebody unmute and say, let us make it a bit interactive? Anybody? Any students? I know a few students have joined. Anybody can give it a try?
மேம் ஒரே ஒரு சிறு சந்தேகம், உங்களுக்கு ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஜாயின் பண்ணும்போது பயமா இல்லையா?
Hi Aditya, I'll be very okay. Aditya, நான் questions எல்லாமே வந்து end of the sessionல எடுக்கிறேன். Okay, so I'll be very patient enough to take all the questions. Let's wait for that. Right now, my question is what do you mean by unicorn? யாராச்சும் especially the students?
மேம் அதான் மோஸ்ட் வர்த்தி ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ஸ் வந்து யூனிகார்ன்ஸ் சொல்லுவாங்க. இப்போ ஃபிளிப்கார்ட், ஃபேஸ்புக், ஓலா இதெல்லாமே இந்தியன் யூனிகார்ன்ஸ்.
Good try. நல்ல try Aditya. So so what is a unicorn? The unicorn is a startup that achieves $1 billion valuation. All right. So how should we determine the valuation and all? It's a different topic. Maybe that is out of scope for you students at this point of time. Let's leave that. So you see, like when I was I just got graduated that time, I was only aware of this company called Flipkart. So in 2012, Flipkart was the only unicorn. You see, like from 2011 to 13, there are not more than one unicorns. And then in 14, okay, it got better. There were 3, and 15, again 3. You can see Paytm. If you remember, in 2016, by in the end of the last quarter, the demonetization happened. So that gave a boom to Paytm the next year in 2017. Now you can see the impact in the year 2018. There was this phone pay, and many digital platforms like boomed. For example, for the first time, we see an edtech startup becoming a unicorn, that is Byju's. And then in the following year, 2019, Big Basket, it became a unicorn. So by 2020, there were so many other, you can see like we can see some fintech startups. The first fintech startup was Paytm, and followed by PhonePe, and then it was Zerodha. If you guys are into investment, you must be aware of Zerodha. And there is something called Razorpay. Razorpay is a, what do you say, the payment gateway. For example, you're buying a biscuit packet from a local bakery, you're paying it through GPay or like PhonePe. Like how this payment goes through, that is through a third party. I'm not so sure whether Google Pay or PhonePe have the third party, but other merchants, they have the third party payer, that is Razorpay. And even Nika, that became a unicorn in the year 2020, Cars 24, and so many others. But look at 2021, the most special year, I should say. There are so many. So you can see Upgrad. So after Byju's, Unacademy came, and then after Unacademy, it was Upgrad. And there are so many other popular apps. Again, in fintech, Cred. If you are a credit card holder, you must be aware of Cred. And there are other competitors to Big Basket, that is Grofers. Even Licious is an indirect competitor. So the Grofers who promise 10 minutes delivery. Again, there is an interesting fact. Grofers did not promise a 10 minutes delivery till like last month or so. So all of a sudden, 2 teenagers from Mumbai, they are like 19 years old. They are like Stanford College dropouts. They founded a company called Zepto. So Zepto's tagline was delivery in 10 minutes. Now, Zepto is giving tough to Grofers and Big Basket. So we can't imagine like what kind of, where are we heading to? And in how do you say, in business, we call this period, this era as Industry 4.0. What is Industry 4.0? The machine learning, the data, the artificial intelligence, everything dominates, everything is digital. That is how the world is going to be. It is extremely dynamic. Say, for example, like it's been only like 9 to 10 years I completed my graduation. The 10 years doesn't look so longer, but when I think about the changes that happened over the years, that is unbelievable. So what 2022 is going to bring in the market, I'm really curious. So another important point here, or another special thing about 2021 is, when I spoke to you guys about India's ranking, India stands at the 3rd position. So first is US, followed by China. So in the number of startup wise, yes, China actually like overtakes India. But you look at 2021 bar chart. India is leading by 14 unicorns. Okay, India has got 33 unicorns in one single year in this particular year, whereas China has only 19 years. So who knows, maybe like India tops the list very soon. So this is all about like startups and unicorns. So if you ask me, okay, the market is changing, the businesses are changing, the industrial revolution is happening. So what kind of skill set should we possess? Okay, this should be a separate, bigger, a vast topic. What should I say? It should be a it should be a different topic altogether, because we cannot cover everything in this slide. But still, I'm just trying to give you, or I'm going to succinctly explain you what the industry would look for. You know what? In one period, like why the Arab countries are so rich, because they have got the oil. And in India today, like, do you know, like what is the oil for us? It is the software products. And again, nowadays, people call the data as a new oil. If you have the data, you're going to be successful in the business. Why? Because based on the data, the product owners, they look for new business opportunities. Okay, for example, how do I say? Most of you will be like using Instagram. You must be familiar with that. Okay, you just go to Amazon. You look for some, sweatshirt or jackets in Amazon. You will see the same similar kind of ads or products from Amazon on your Instagram as an ad. Not just from Amazon. You might get it from Lifestyle, you might get it from, Roadster, whatever. But how it is happening? Because we don't know, our data is being shared um, from business to business. So data is the new oil. So like if a guy has a skill set that is pertaining to data science or big data, that guy's like, he's like a hot cake in the industry. So like, should you pursue degree in it? No, not necessarily. There are a lot of certification courses available. There are a lot of online courses available even these days, like be it 10th or 12th or like MBA, whatever it is, everything is happening online. So like you don't have to question the integrity of it, then we wouldn't be like ending up anywhere, right? So try to get hold of any of these kind of concepts if you belong to like IT industry, or if you are like interested in working for digital products rather than the physical products. Okay, and AI/ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, I don't have to give you an example. Also, you must be like knowing more than like what I do. Very simple example for the machine learning is, you just go to your Gmail, open your spam. There will be like number of spams, like there will be set of spams which you wouldn't have moved from your main inbox to spam, but the the software, the application itself did this job. That is machine learning. And artificial intelligence, for example, Alexa, you talk to it, you get the information. So that is, the next generation technology. That is what is going to, dominate the complete market. So like, try to develop your skill on that. And there are other roles in trend which is always on the demand. That is project management. Project management, uh, due to high number of startups, like there is always demand for good project management managers. So how do you pursue it? With like, you should be having minimum number of experience at least to get that maturity, and then there are like courses to pursue that, and you can join. And even for product management, even as a fresher, like you can join as a product intern and learn from the company itself. So these two are like kind of jobs on trend and on demand all the time. Okay, now let us see. I come from non-IT, and here like few of you are from non-IT background. Okay, I have no clue about big data. I have no idea about data science, cloud computing, or any of these. At the same time, I was actually in that particular situation. We were the first batch of aeronautical engineering. We had no clue about like where are we going to end up. Okay, there was that kind of stage. So let us assume I don't know where I'm going to end up, whether I'm going to get a job in my core industry or not, but I'm more interested towards managerial roles. I want to climb the career ladder faster. In such cases, what can you do? I'll go back to the previous slide. I have showed you guys a set of D2C companies. What is D2C? Let's take the fresh to home for an example, or Big Basket for an example. What does Big Basket do? They deliver you the fresh vegetables and fruits at your doorstep. But do you think Big Basket will go to the farmers directly, acquire the products, get it here, process it, and give it to you? Not at all. So there is a different problem solver in that space. For example, I'll give you a company name called Ninja Cart. What they do, they go to the farmers. They procure the SKUs, they process it, they pack it, they deliver that to Big Basket. So that means none of you know there is a company called Ninja Cut exist, right? Because that is business to business. They don't come to the consumers. Okay. Likewise, there is Licious. So Licious, they don't go to the fishermen directly, get the fish, or they don't go to the butcher shop directly, get the meat and come to your place. No, there is again another different problem solver. For example, there is a company called Captain Fresh. These are all startups. I'm talking only about the startups. So they go, they do all the work. They get the fresh meat and fish to Licious, and then Licious will give it to you. Now you see, these are kind of hidden job market, can we say? Because none of us are directly connected to any of these things, any of these B2B companies, or a very less number of D2C companies we are aware of. So what I mean to say is, there are some roles like supply chain management, because the logistics is huge, their supply chain is huge. And there's category management. Category management means what product need to be sold at what price, where. These things will be determined. And sorry, sharing. Okay. Yeah, so these will be determined by a separate segment in any company, that is called the category management. If you ask me, okay, Rejitha, it's all fine, but I am a fresher, how can I get into it? So that question, I'll answer you. So that part I'll come to the end, but keep something in mind. You talk to your seniors. Seniors means not immediate also. There will be super seniors in our alumni network. There is already a platform for to interact with our alumni. You talk to people, you talk to the mechanical or automobile or aeronautical people. You just ask them, how happy are you for being in the core field? Are you completely satisfied? If you get 100% yes, then great, you try for it. If they say, see, it doesn't matter once you crosses 30 years, all that matters is you should be able to pay your bills. If you get that kind of answers, that should be an alarm for you. Because in the initial days, even we all felt, okay, we have to get into core, we have to get into core. But what are you going to do there? Did you know anything about the roles and responsibilities that you would be given? Nothing. Because many people, we are all like unaware what we are going to do. All that we want is, we want to proudly say, see, I'm working for the core company itself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter after you gain certain number of years of experience, because you have to climb up the career ladder. You don't want to be the same technical guy. So think broader. Okay, I'll just give you a small instance or something. My husband, he was working for a vegetable and fruits procurement company, but he was in the senior leadership role. Okay, one of his uncle, what he said, I really pity Satya. That's my husband's name. I really pity him. He has done MTech and now he's selling vegetables and fruits. Oh, really sad. I'm trying to get my son a design role. You know what? The design role and the senior director role, both are extremely like different. And That's the point I'm trying to make. So before jumping onto any kind of decision, don't think in one direction, think in all the directions. After 5 years, what you want to be, you want to just lead a team, or you want to be a leader. Leader means not getting the job done by others, taking up the complete ownership, adding value to the company, having your own identity. If that is what you're looking for, explore opportunities like this: supply chain management, category management, roles in operations, and there are others like digital marketing. Because these days, have you heard of influencer marketing? It is nothing, you just open Instagram, there are hundreds of thousands of lakhs of influencers, I should say. What they all do, they just advertise a particular product for money, and we fall for it. Okay, this is the most effective advertising that is happening among the young crowd in India, not in India, in global. So digital marketing itself is a separate segment these days. So these are the alternate career options. These are not this is not an exhaustive list. The list actually goes on. So try to explore that kind of things. Now, we have spoken a lot about startups, but do you really think after joining startup everything will be a cakewalk? Okay, let us see how it is going to be. Okay, first of all, let's see the opportunities that you're going to get in a startup. The startup will have a very small team, but very like the fine team. They pick the people very carefully. They consider all the aspects: their past background, how loyal they can be, what is their skill set, can they work under pressure, and many more. Okay, so the team becomes smaller, so the work culture becomes so friendly. You just wear a shorts and sleeveless and go get your job done. Nobody is going to question you, unless until you didn't fulfill the requirement that was expected out of you. And growth wise, just take an MNC. I work in a design team. There's my colleague under the same basis, but he's from IIT, or just say he has like 2 years more experience than me. There is a hierarchy already. No, Rejitha, we cannot promote you because he's due for the promotion. But do you think that kind of hierarchy exists in startup? Not at all. You're skilled, you have proven your abilities. No matter whether you come from IIT or non-IIT, you will be promoted. So the growth curve will be steeper if you put your best foot forward. Okay, and then the most fascinating thing is like ESOPs. ESOP is nothing but you will receive the share from your company that is meant for employees. Today the company might not have good funding, but they have to retain you. They have to give you the compensation that you deserve. In that case, they will provide you some employee stock options. So that is really attractive offer, right? Because after a few years, the company may grow tenfolds. At the same time, your share will grow tenfolds. Like I have seen people become crorepathies because of ESOPs. But the only thing is you need to be wise in choosing the startup that you want to join. All right. And workplace flexibility, that is the timing, you come anytime, go anytime, but do the job. That is how so many startups are. Okay, and these days, like many are working from home, and there is no actual monitor whether you're in front of the system all the time or not at all. So these are all the perks that you get. And if you guys remember, there was this World Cup match between India and Pakistan. You would have seen the company called Bharat Pay. They have taken their whole tech team to Dubai to see the match. Not just that, they offer BMW, KTM bikes, Apple gadgets to new joinees, but not to all the new joinees, to specific new joinees with particular skill sets, whom they consider the assets to the company might be. So they offer such kind of things. And Meesho, you would have definitely heard of, because this is quite popular among the homemakers in India. And Meesho is like operating in so many cities and towns, even in some villages. Not just that, Meesho is extremely employee friendly. So it has it was listed in the top 20 startups in India, which is like employee friendly. And Meesho announces ESOP for all programs, irrespective of your background, your experience. If you're an employee to the company, like you will get ESOP. These are all the perks that you get from startup. But what is going to be the hurdles that you're going to face? So like Aditya asked, right? உங்களுக்கு பயமா இல்லையா? Yeah. Initially பயமா இருக்கல because of that fire for joining an electric motorbike company, because I was always fascinated towards motorbikes. So today, if somebody asks me, I do not react like that, but I would like to give my response. See, it's not that in all the companies you can expect good remuneration. So when I joined a startup, I was well aware that that company didn't even have the Series A funding. But today, like, it is well funded. That is a different story. But say, for example, some companies, their product idea attracts you to the core. You get so desperate to join them. But like they might offer you like little lesser than the market value, but you agree upon that. But what if that company doesn't perform well? Even they have given you the ESOPs. Again, when I talk about ESOP, that has got the vesting period. That means only after that vesting period, you can avail that share. You can convert that into monetary asset. Okay. Say, for example, let's take Meesho. Meesho has offered you ESOP. The vesting period is 4 years. We will be like, all right, man, only 4 years. It is not going to be a bigger loss for me. I can stay with the company and then like I can take the money. But the thing is that only 10% can be vested at the 4th year, 20% on 5th year. So that means you have to stay in that company for 8 long years. That is so painful. If suppose the growth, the career growth doesn't go in a expected way. So these are all the hardships in joining a startup, and there is no clear cut roles and responsibilities. You have to do whatever you're supposed to, and there will not be structured management. In most of the cases, the management will be volatile. Today you talk to one manager, one senior manager, tomorrow he might have been replaced. We cannot say that. And there will be long work hours, job insecurities, all that. These are all the hurdles. Okay. And then finally, since Reynolds sir has informed me that like people, there are students. So what I would recommend you guys is, I have given 3 links. So first two, angel.co and startup.jobs. These are exclusively for people to find jobs in startups. And why did I mention LinkedIn? Let me tell you. These days, how do you identify the hidden job market? A hidden job market is bigger, larger than the job market that you see outside. Okay, that is only through networking. But again, my advice is, if you go back to this slide, I have kept one picture, that is emotional intelligence. This cannot be taught. Just by explaining this, you will not learn it, but you try to learn it. It will help you in making decisions. It will help you for better collaborations. It will make you a great leader or manager. So this will help you in your personal as well as professional life. You won't believe, like, uh, whichever leader or manager you see, like they would have mastered this emotional intelligence. Why I meant is, I see LinkedIn messages, like the first message will be like, hi, or hi Rejitha. I should respond like hello to understand like what he or she is going to say. Then comes, how are you? How is life? How is job? And then I'm looking for this opportunity. Can you recommend? By then I would have like judged that person. Okay, this person is first of all not at all confident enough. He's not at all good with communication. Communication doesn't mean any fluency in the language, not at all. So never do that. If you want to find a job in LinkedIn, if you want to leverage the networking, write a clear message to that particular person stating that you are from your name, you are from so and so background, your experience, no matter whether it is zero. Always you can look for internship in some good companies. Okay, then very serious mail in a very professional way, no emotions involved. That is the first thing. When I say professional, no emotions, sir, if you can help me, no, nothing. So this is what I'm looking for. I hope like I can be best fit to this role. I would really appreciate if you could help me on this. This way, like you can leverage the network. So that's all for today. Like I exceeded the time that was given to me. I'm very sorry. I have taken a lot of your time on a Sunday evening. Thank you so much for your patience. If you have any doubts, yeah, you can ask me now.
மேம் நீங்க சொல்றத உண்மையிலேயே நான் உணர்ந்திருக்கேன். ஏன்னா ஒரு சேலஞ்சிங்கான விஷயத்தை சிஐ போடுறது எப்போதுமே நல்ல விஷயமா தான் இருக்கும், இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருக்கும். பட் விஷயம் என்னன்னா நம்ம இனிமே கேட்டையா பயன்படுத்தப்படுதா? நிறைய எந்த
Very good question, Aditya. நிஜமாவே good question, Aditya. So 2012ல ரெனால்ட் சார் வந்துட்டு என்ன ஒரு ஸ்பீச் கொடுக்க சொல்லியிருந்தாரு. தட் வாஸ் இன் பர்சன் காலேஜ்ல, லைக் ஃபைனல் இயர் அண்ட் தேர்ட் இயர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் அட்ரஸ் பண்ணி வாயால நானே சொல்லியிருக்கேன், கைஸ் ப்ளீஸ் கோ ஸ்டடி லைக் CAD டூல்ஸ் அண்ட் CA டூல்ஸ், இட் வில் டெஃபினெட்லி லேண்ட் யூ ஆன் அ ஜாப். ஓகே, என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்னா லைக் யூ கேன் இப்போ வந்து நீங்க ஃபைனல் இயர்ல இருக்கீங்கன்னா எஸ் தட் வில் டெஃபினெட்லி கெட் யூ அ ஜாப், ஏன்னா அது எல்லா இடத்துலயுமே தேவைப்படுது. பட் அதோட ஃபியூச்சர் என்னவா இருக்கும்னா ஐ எம் நாட் சோ ஷுர். லைக் அது ஆட்டோமேஷன் வந்து ரிப்ளேஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. அதுவும் வந்து கேட்டையா கூட அவ்வளவு டக்குன்னு ரிப்ளேஸ் ஆகாது, பட் சிஏ எல்லாமே சீக்கிரமாவே ரிப்ளேஸ் ஆயிடும். தட் அண்ட் ஆல் மைட் பிகம் லோ ப்ரொஃபைல் ஜாப்ஸ். இப்போ உங்களோட ட்ரீம் வந்து ஹையரா இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னா திங்க் ஹையர். சும்மா வந்து ஒரு ஜாப்ல லேண்ட் ஆகணும்னு நினைக்காம இந்த மாதிரி ஜாப் இந்த மாதிரி கம்பெனில தான் வேணும் அப்படின்னு உங்களுக்குள்ளாரையே ஒரு எய்மை ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணி தென் ஒர்க் ஃபார் இட்.
ஓகே மேம், பட் ஓகே மேம், தேங்க்யூ. பட் விஷயம் என்னன்னா மேம், எங்க பார்த்தாலும் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் தான் கேட்கறாங்க. ஃப்ரெஷரால ஒரு டிசைன் ரோலுக்கு எதுவுமே அப்ளை பண்ணவே முடியறது.
கரெக்ட் ஆதித்யா, அதுக்காக தான் அந்த அந்த இந்த கொஸ்டின் கண்டிப்பா வரும்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். பிகாஸ் ஐ வாஸ் தேர், அதே சுச்சுவேஷன்ல நான் இருந்திருக்கேன். ஸோ என்ன பண்ணுங்கன்னா லிங்க்டின்ல சர்ச் பாருக்கு போயிட்டு ஒரு நேம் டைப் பண்ணி சர்ச் பண்றதுக்கு பதிலா ஜஸ்ட் புட் ஆஷ் ஹையரிங், அதுக்கப்புறம் கீழே வந்து பீப்புள்னு இருக்கும் இல்லையா, கிளிக் ஆன் தட் பீப்புள். அப்ப என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ஐ எம் ஹையரிங் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த ப்ரொஃபைல் பிக்சர்ல ஐ எம் ஹையரிங் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு டேக்லைன் வரும். தட் வே யூ கேன் ஃபைண்ட் யாரெல்லாம் ஹையர் பண்றாங்க என்ன மாதிரி ரோல்ஸ்க்காக. தட் டைம் நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும்னா சார் நான் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டட் அப்படின்னு அதுல கமெண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு பதிலா நான் இப்ப சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு டீடைல்டான ஒரு இன்மெயில் வந்து லிங்க்டின் மெசேஜாவே அனுப்புங்க. நான் ஃப்ரெஷர் தான், பட் ஐ எம் ஸ்கில்ட் இன் திஸ். மேபி லைக் நீங்க ஒரு போர்ட்ஃபோலியோ கூட கிரியேட் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. நீங்க வந்து கேடுக்காக அப்ளை பண்றீங்கன்னா கேட் டூல் யூஸ் பண்ணி நான் வந்துட்டு என்ஜினோட இந்த ஒரு பார்ட்டனை கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்கேன். அதர்வைஸ் இல்ல நான் என்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்றேன்னா, நீங்க ஒரு ஆட்டோமொபைல் கம்பெனிக்கு அனுப்ப போறீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா சார் நான் ஒரு என்ஜினோட இதுவே டிசைன் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கேன் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு போர்ட்ஃபோலியோவோட அனுப்புனீங்கன்னா இட் வில் பி எஃபெக்டிவ். இப்போ ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பர்சன் ஜஸ்ட் ரெஸ்யூம் அனுப்புறதுக்கும் நீங்க இப்படி அனுப்புறதுக்கும் யூ வில் ஸ்டாண்ட் அவுட். இந்த மாதிரி தான் நீங்க உங்க ப்ரொஃபைல வந்து டிஸ்டிங்விஷ் பண்ணி காமிக்க முடியும்.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks for that. I will follow the actual change. Thank you, ma'am.
So, any other questions, or can we wrap up?
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Anand. I'm from 2005 batch. I think there was a question of startups. So I want to share my experience and views. So very recently, right, 8 months back, I joined kind of a startup. So I think first of all, like Rejitha, it's a top-notch presentation. So up to the point, great presentation. And I don't know, for some reason, right, I have not been, like, I attended all these webinars, like, for the last year, but for some reason, I was not able to make it. And today, I don't like, for some reason, I thought that let me give a shot. So, so I think it was top-notch presentation. It was very good. So I think there
I'm
was
really happy
a
that
question, I
helped
think
you.
from,
Thank you.
so there was a question from Aditya, right, about joining startups and then like, okay, is it a good decision kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. I've been like kind of like, I was working in Cognizant for almost like 13 years. It's an IT firm. I think you guys must be knowing. So, and pretty much right, everything was going fine. Like, so I was like kind of senior manager. And then, right, I decided at some point of time, okay, I'm going to, okay, switch jobs, right? And pretty much I went through all these things, like, okay, through LinkedIn and kind of stuff. And pretty much whatever Rejitha said is right. It's accurate. So that's when, right, I just got a couple of offers, right? So I just got with some very good investment banks like Citibank, and then a custodian firm like State Street and kind of stuff. But I also got an offer with kind of a start, but it's like it's been there for quite some years, but it has not gone public, right? This was 8 months back. And then this company's name is called Infusion. I joined Infusion like 8 months back. And pretty much, I think, right, there were a lot of challenges, right? So, kind of like at one point of time, I just had a talk with the management. Hey, I have sacrificed so many offers and joined your firm. Somehow, right, I'm not feeling so not feeling so comfortable, right? So kind of like it's so unorganized kind of stuff, right? Then I got this advice. Hey, if you had joined a very big firm, right, everything would have been defined. So what you would be doing is more of an execution, right? Meaning that, right, you would just follow the rules and policies and procedures that was well defined. But whereas when you join a startup, right, it's so much unorganized. So you will grow along with it. You will set up the policies. You will work along with them, right? You will learn things. So it's like it's a different challenge, and by the way, it's a great opportunity. So that's the difference that you're going to get joining a startup on a well-defined company, right? So you will be more of an executor if you join a well-defined company. But if you join a startup, right, you will grow along with this. And then, right, if you join a big firm, right, okay, so your contributions, right, definitely it would be somewhere related to the growth of the firm, but it will not have much of an impact. But when you join a startup, you grow along with the company. So your contribution is directly related to the valuation of the company. So, and the 8 months time, it was definitely challenging, but how it was rewarded, as I said, right? So we went public in October. So if I had, right, and again, right, during this 5 or 6 months period before it went public, right, I've been like getting calls and stuff, right. There was a lot of motivation, kind of, right, for me to stay in the company. But still, right, when I started getting the offers, I thought that okay, I might just, it's been 4 months. Let me take out that from my job or career history, and then I'll join a new firm. I mean, so, but I sustained, right, and then we went public, and due to the impact of the contribution, right, I and my colleagues made, right, we have been given a significant ESOPs. So it's like again, right, as Rejitha was saying, we had a vesting period. So it's purely your choice, right? As I said, right, okay. So this is the difference between probably our generation and the few generations back and the current generation, right? The current generation is more willing to take opportunities in startups. And believe me, as long as, right, okay, you're confident, right, okay, there is nothing wrong in going for a startup opportunity. And beyond that, one thing you have to be very aware of is the startup that you're choosing. Okay, you have to be aware that it is conceptually, or like it has something in the market, okay, that it can just like grow. And there was some good piece of statistics that was provided by Rejitha. And Rejitha, I just want to check with you, like, so I think you put up the statistics from 2012 to 2021, right? Like all those companies, unicorns and stuff, right? Do you have a statistics of how many of these companies have sustained after going public, or like how many of these companies have sustained, okay, like after they have attained the unicorn
I
status?
guess that is a huge data, because there are around 40,000 startups, right? But I would suggest one thing. There is a website called crunchbase.com. So crunchbase.com will have all such information. You just go type about specific startup, it will give you the history.
Great, great. Yeah. So I think it's definitely right. A great presentation, and it's quite surprising that like we have several topics, more of the technical topics, and this is like more of an entrepreneurial and then a different experience. A great job. Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you so much for bearing with me. I think at least a bit of information would like definitely help you in the future while in decision making. If there is anything, if you think that I can do for you guys, like you can always connect me with through LinkedIn. Otherwise, like you can get my email ID from Thomas sir. You can always write to me. Thank you so much, and I wish you all good luck and success in your future endeavor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. So can we go for
Thank
the closing remarks, ma'am? So thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful presentation. On behalf of SREC Alumni Association, we extend a heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am, for your time and this webinar and your effort for this webinar titled 0 towards 1. It was much more useful one.
It
And
was
it
in
was
fact
all.
my pleasure attending and interacting with you all, Santhosh. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. And the presentation was beautifully and well coordinated, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you for your contribution, valuable contribution, ma'am. And
Thank
finally,
you.
we'd like to extend our thanks to the member audience and faculty members for joining this webinar and making a wonderful one. Thank you once again, ma'am, for this
Thank
presentation.
you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
Have a
Bye.
nice evening ahead. Bye.